Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to recase the Hampden 18S 1903 Model 3, and we are going to recase it. If you've watched the other two videos, we've already disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled it. Now, I also, in the other video, I mentioned that I had taken the yoke spring and I think the the setting lever from another watch and another Model 3 Hampden that I had just laying around in parts. And so we took those parts off and they work perfectly. So now we have the working spring lever, which does spring back and forth, which is the way it's supposed to. So that this watch is basically now complete, other than putting the hands on and then recasing it. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. I do have, where are we here? This watch was not running when I started, and the hands were, I think it only had one or two hands, or a second hand and a busted hour hand. So these I've taken off one of the same watch, which did have good hands, which is absolutely not running, and I don't believe it will. It's basically a parts watch. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we put it in our holder here. We're going to set, I believe, let's go set the second hand first, because that seems to be the hardest for me because it's so small. So this takes a little bit of dexterity, which I don't have. And that's what happens if you're not careful. It will fly away on you. Look how small that is. And unfortunately, my hands are so shaky that a lot of times working on small stuff like this is really very, very challenging. Just got to get it on that post. If we can get it on the post, then we're golden. Come on. Come on, just sit on there. I think I had my coffee today. There we go. Okay. Whew. That was one of the hard parts. So now all we got to do is just set that down. Check it. That looks good. This is a single sunk, so this part of the second hand here is sunk. So we can put that down a little bit farther, and that looks really good. That's about as far as she's going. You can see it's not running right now. I haven't wound it up. It hasn't been running in a few days. So, okay, that was stressful. Now we're going to set the hour hand, and we're going to set that at 12 o'clock. I've already pre-fitted these hands because I wanted to make sure that this went well. These hands do fit. Alright, so we're pretty good here. I might have to use... Okay, so I don't want to use these on the hands, so because I don't want to scratch them, because they're beautiful hands. They're in really good shape. I went ahead off camera and made, just out of a little wooden stick, I hollowed the end out. I don't know if you can see that. Just enough so I can get this on. So let's try that. It has to go down a little bit, just a little bit farther, in order to be able to get the minute hand on. I think that looks not too bad. So we're just going to put it down just a bit more in the front, just to bring it down to the dial. And I think that looks good. Okay, so now let's set that to 12 exactly. And out of my spare parts, I just took a crown. I've got a million of these, and then a stem, an 18S stem, to make myself a winder. Okay, so that's set. So now what we need to do is set the minute hand. This is the tricky part for someone with shaky hands. Okay, no, that's not the one we want to use the other one. Okay, so now we have the hour hand properly spaced. That took a little bit to get that so that it would clear the second hand just a little bit. So now we are going to put the minute hand on. And here's our minute hand. Just going to set that on. Actually, we'll get that to, we need to set that properly right to 12 o'clock. Get that right on the money. Would really like that to be just perfect. Oops. Okay, so let's set the our hand right perfectly on 12 in the middle. All right, so let's see if we can do this. Okay. Get my little glasses on. Okay, so now we need to check and see if this is actually going to run properly, go around without hitting each other. Okay, so let's okay, so far so good. Test will be when it comes to here. Does it snag? No. All right, let's see if we can put it back to 12. That's as close as I can get it without messing around with it. You mess around with it too long and you end up messing stuff up. All right, so now we've done that. Take my glasses off here. We will now get the case out, and I don't know if you remember, put that off to the side for a second, if you remember what the case looked like. We're just going to put this down here, and we're going to bring the case out. So here is the case that was done. In the first video, my first polishing of an antique watch, I think it came out really well, as far as I can do it anyway. And here's the case back. That is just beautiful. Came out really nice. Now this bezel here, this is a plastic or acrylic. It's still pretty scuffed up, and I want to change it into a brand new dial or a brand new crystal, but I can't right now. This is basically, I think it's only just set in there. I think it's glued, but I do have a case remover or a crystal remover, so that we can do that. So let's take this out of the holder. We're not going to start it yet because I want to try and get this in the case. So we have to get that. This is upside down because this is a lever set. We have to have that little notch right there. Okay, so 12 o'clock, and we'll just set that in there, get that in there. Good. Oh, that works very well. Perfect. Oh, that's not in there, is it? Something tells me that's not. Oh, that's all the way in there. Pop that out. For some reason that does not want to wind. It's not catching. Hopefully I didn't do something wrong. I put the clutch back in the way it's supposed to be. Why is that not engaging? Is that too far down? Or is that not down far enough? Let's take a peek. Now, there is a way to move this down farther, which looks like it can. But if I put this in right, it should just work because that's the way it came apart, right? You would think. And that looks like it fits nicely in there. I think I maybe need to tighten up the screws first. So let's get our screwdriver and we will set this in here. Nope, that's not going to work. There we go. I'm trying to be careful not to touch the hands, but have enough so that I can turn this screw. Is this not a big enough screwdriver? That's the biggest one I have. This should. I have to dress my screwdrivers. Okay, that's set in there nicely. Now, let's see. Okay, now it does wind. Okay, good. Had me scared there for a second. So let's put the bezel on. Okay, I'll put the case back on. There we go. Didn't even fight with that too much, which is awesome. Okay, so we're going to give it a little quick little shine. There are still scuffs and marks on here, but I mean I think this case is probably as old as a watch, maybe even older. Who knows? But this is 1903, so it's 120 years old. So now that the test is, will it run? Okay. I think that's a success. I give it a little bit more wind. There we go. Yeah, that's nice and tight. So it is catching the mainspring, or the barrel. And there we go. Thus ends this video for this 1903 Hampden 18S 15 jewel watch. I did not do as much as other people because I'm just learning, and I did not want to go too far out of my comfort zone at this point. I can always come back and revisit this, take it apart, redo it, re-oil it, even better than I did this way, take all the jewels out, because now I do have a staking kit, and I also have a sights jewel kit. So those were eBay finds for absolutely just, stunning prices. I got them for under $100 each, and they're good quality tools. The staking set is a star set, and the sights jeweling was made by I'm not sure. Was that? Not sure if it was made by Bergeron or not. I think so. I think they took over Sights or Star. I'm not sure. But anyway, that will end this video for this watch. This one will be going into my personal collection. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of a new restoration. Cheers.